Let's talk about brand authority. So this has a few different ways to say it, different ways to call it. A lot of times for me, it focuses on social media and being out in the community that way. But really what it is it's being in the community in general. It's getting your brand out there. So sometimes you'll hear it called like brand positioning. But a lot of times it's really, like I said, about being in the community and getting out there. And you really want to be out there in front of qualified leads. So you really want to use these types of tactics and things to think about how you can get out there to the most relevant people that are most likely to buy your product or consume your product. So let's talk about this list of items of things that you could do to get started when it comes to this. This is absolutely not all inclusive, but this is a very common list of things that you should look at. So point number one is, are the social channels being used effectively? So there's lots of opportunities out there when it comes to social, and social just blows my mind, to be perfectly honest, because it is crazy to me that you can just spend $0, put out a video, it can go viral, and it can just get 5 million eyeballs on your product or your service just like that. And it's pretty cool. So I have spent the last 3 years building a social platform for Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets and teaching people spreadsheets. And so I am really invested in this and really knowledgeable on the topic. I would say expert level. And I would love to talk to you about how we can get your business to be out there in the community like that, and hopefully even surpass what I've done. So would love to share that information with you. So let's connect. But let's get started. So point number one, I talked about the social channels being used effectively. So, are you sharing valuable content? Are you promoting the products? Are you responding to the questions when people do interact with you? Is your social media presence being used? And so something that's really simple, fairly low cost, and you should be doing it to make sure that you are catching your target audience where they're spending their time and getting in front of them. Point number two, are your social media channels growing? So, it's essential to expand your reach, but you want to make sure that your ability to reach new customers is happening as well. So you really want to be doing things that are answering their queries that they have out there, providing useful tips to things. You're being like the brand authority to like tell them like, this is how you do something, or this is the law, information on this, or this is not that you're a legal person, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to make sure that you're getting them the resources they need as it pertains to your brand. So with Excel, for example, for me, it's pretty straightforward. A lot of times it's informational things. It's like, this is how you do this. So, this is the task, this is how you do it. And a lot of times that answers people's questions, but a lot of times it's a new shortcut or it's a new way to do it that people didn't think of, and it saves them time in their day. It saves them from having to do something over and over and over again in a really slow manner. So, you just gotta try to think, how can you make their life better? How can you entertain them, educate them, whatever it is. And point number three, you're answering potential customer inquiries on various platforms. So like I just said, as long as you're educating people, you're entertaining them, you're giving them information that they find useful or that they find controversial, something that they feel the need to respond to, whatever it is, you're going to get better engagement, and eventually your following should be growing. Point number four, people engage with your brand. So it's having active engagement on these social platforms is a good sign that the audience is invested in your brand. So if you're getting the likes, the shares, the messages, it's all indicators that people are seeing it and that they're actively connecting to it. So do a lot of A/B testing. I'm so familiar with this in trying to figure out what people respond to, the timing that they respond to, the way it's shown on the screen, all kinds of different things to take into account. Number five, you sponsor events and you're doing things like philanthropic events or just other things in the community to like be out there. So sponsoring events and supporting the philanthropy of efforts is a powerful way to align the brand with causes that matter to your audience. So it shows that your company cares. You're out there in the community doing things that people find positive, and that will in turn lead to positive things for you. Point number six, your customers know what you stand for. If you have your values, your mission, all of that thing, on your website, on your product, in your packaging, whatever it might be, people will know what you stand for. And so that is really important to make sure that when you are out in the community, that's just another way to be out there, is to show what you're doing. Again, it kind of goes back to that chart I was talking about in the previous video, where don't tell people about it, but show them. So if you're sponsoring these events and things like that, and you've got the photos and you're helping the community, like, it really makes it really easy for people to see this is who you are, this is who your brand represents. Point number 7, you publish new features, new products in various outlets. So ClickUp is a really great example. I would say recently they launched a Slack alternative chat feature, and they use their social media in a very entertaining way to put it out there. And so most of the time you're lucky on a software to get an email notice about it, or maybe a pop-up banner or something like that. But like, they really hit the masses by doing that with a funny video, because people responded to it really well. And then I'm guessing it took off, but I know the video took off. I don't know if feature adoption did, but either way, it was just a really creative, unique way to do it. So you want to make sure that when you're publishing your products and features, that you're doing it in ways that get to new customers and that are doing it, it's a different, innovative type of way. Point number 8, are your own employees promoting your brand? So what better way to get word of mouth out there than by the employees? So I've worked in luxury goods, and when I worked there would be significant discounts, sometimes even free on the products, on watches and handbags. And like, what a much better, you can't think of a better way to get product out there than having it on the wrist of someone who actually made it, or who, is just really in love with the product, because then everyone's seeing it and it's just out there. So it's like, how can you get your employees to promote the brand? Ideally, you would have people working for you that feel really strongly about whatever it is that you're doing, your mission, so that they are willing to be the ambassadors for you. Point number 9, you work with local schools and recruit and train. So this is interesting, where you can partner with local schools to recruit and train talent, but you can also do other things if you're a smaller business, where you can, give away some of the software for free, a few accounts or something like that. There's lots of different ways that you can help the schools. And you can have, I worked at Wayne State with mentoring, and the idea there was that the student could come to your work for a day and see how the office works. And so that's another great thing you could offer up, is a way for college students to see what it's like in whatever type of industry you're in. So lots of different things to do, but it's another great way to be in the community. Number 10, you work with local businesses for brand visibility. So collaborating with local businesses is a great way to increase visibility and strengthen the community presence again. So it could be co-hosting events, could be cross-promoting products, offering discounts to each other's communities and customers, whatever it is, but those partnerships really help raise awareness for both brands. So overall, being in the community is not just about social media. It's a big part of it, but there's lots of things you can do when it comes to offering services, help, philanthropic sponsorships, still having trouble with that word, but lots of different things that you can do to be in the community and establish your brand as an authority. You're putting your product out there, and you're answering the questions that people have. You're really like trying to set yourself apart from everyone else. So I have lots of experience in this area as well, and I'd love to talk about how I can apply that to your organization. So let's connect.